I have my dream job, but even dream jobs have not so dreamy parts. That's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what to do about your busy work, they actually do it. That way your team can focus on what matters. To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com. Hey everyone, welcome to Serve, brought to you by ServiceNow. We have a great show for you. Holger Rune going to join later on and give us an update on his injury. He even mentions when he thinks he might come back. Whoa. It's not going to be in Cincy. No. He pulled out of that 5 days ago. Yeah. I suspected it's not going to be the U.S. Open. I don't think he's officially withdrawn yet, but I don't know why I'm telling you this. He'll tell us later in the show. Anyways, but there's some chaos up north. Masters Canada, all sides. On the men's side, how's this for a stat? No top 5 men in the third round of a Masters series since 1991 was the last time that happened. Wow. Carnage, chaos, injuries, all of the stuff.
That's insane.
You know what? It's weird is like when the big three left, or when it kind of felt like they were on their way out, I expected more weeks like this. I thought it was going to be kind of open season for a while, and then Carlos and Jannik turned into Carlos and Jannik and kind of ruined that whole narrative, or helped that whole narrative, depending what side of the fence you sit on. But it's just chaos. Zverev goes down first round. I just feel like when you look at the schedule and you look at the long Master Series events, I feel like Canada and Cincinnati are getting the worst of it. I think people are pressing the gas. And as the courts slow down and everyone's good on clay, and a lot of the Europeans, they prefer if they lose first or second round, they can go home for 5 or 6 days. They're not kind of in that same scenario when they come over here. So at least the first couple of years of sample size, it seems like it's been chaos. I don't know. I'm a dead horse on this, and we'll see. But it doesn't seem great. News of the week. These two kind of gobble up the headlines even when they're not playing. Sinner out of Cincinnati with a right knee injury. I think that's all we know. It doesn't seem like he mentioned, I don't know if I'll be ready for the Open. In typical Jannik fashion, I don't know that he told us any more than he absolutely had to in order to pull out of Cincinnati. Carlos pulling out of Cincinnati. I just think, and no one's going to want to hear this, I think it's really hard to come back and have your first tournament be 3 out of 5 sets. Yeah. I think the U.S. Open's in doubt. And I don't know, I'm not a doctor. This isn't one of those ones where I come on and say I have some information. It's just when you're taking your time and you've been so diligent about being safe and not being irresponsible, that risk comes back. All of a sudden he's in a 5-setter first round of the U.S. Open. That would be counter to everything that he has done this far with taking his time and being patient with his injury.
Is that, you're saying it's harder, is that more physical or mental?
Just more reps. Like if you don't know where your wrist is at, or let's say you think it's 100%, but the first time you play an extended format and it's 4 hours, it's going to feel some kind of way. Anytime you come back from an extended injury, you play that first game, you go in, and your team sits down and goes, how did it feel? How is it different? How are we going to go about this? Having those conversations after playing an hour and 20 minutes in Cincinnati versus potentially having to play 7 5-setters in 14 or 15 days, I think it's different. Now, if anyone can do it and just jump in midstream, it is Carlos. But it would just be counter to the way that they've gone about this injury, at least outside looking in thus far. So
for people like me who zero athletic experience except for 1 year in high school, there's just not a lot.
Tell us about that.
I took 2 wins out of like 25.
Okay.
So
that's
it was terrible.
Yeah.
But can you explain why, to people who may not understand, can you explain why you can't just practice for 5 sets? Like what's the difference?
I mean,
between practicing for that and then you actually go out and do it.
Yeah, it's just one, you're going to play against players that are good enough to pick off your injury.
Yep.
Right? Every single person that plays Carlos when he comes back will see.
Yep.
what that wrist is offering. If the ball flight's different, if like when Dominic Thiem had his wrist injuries and came back, everyone kind of knew that the forehand wasn't the same. Now that injury was more serious than this injury. Del Potro comes back. It didn't take long for people to pick apart that he couldn't hit certain shots on his backhand side. And he went to the slice, 30, 40% more. You're going to get players who, instead of trying to protect it in practice, you're going to get players who are going to take a scalpel to it. Also, you can't measure for nerves and what that does to your body. Okay, so I don't think I ever in my life cramped in practice.
Yeah.
If I did, it was, end of the day and I'd practice 6 hours in Texas heat and whatever. Then all of a sudden nerves get into play and your body burns energy reserves a lot faster. So you cannot replicate match conditions in practice. You can try, you can be as prepared as you want, but the cadence of a match, if you catch a heater and it's 97 degrees and you're in a fifth set, that's just not the same.
Yeah.
Coming back from an injury, I think the last thing you want is for the first real live action stress test to be at a point where potentially could put you at risk. I think they've taken that option off the table, at least in the last 4, 5, 6 months. At this point, I think I'd be surprised if he just rocked up and played the U.S. Open. Now that I have no information, right? Or maybe it's just I'm close, but let's be extra cautious, and I will be ready to go at the U.S. Open. That's certainly an option also, and I hope that's. I would love nothing more than to be dead wrong on this thing. It's just outside looking in a perfect scenario, you want to go kick some rust off and kind of see where you're at. We're getting little snippets of videos where it's like hearsay here and there. Do we know if he's played 3 sets? Do we know if he's playing sets? That wrist, the first time someone serves 140 into it, does it hold up when you accept that pace?
Yeah.
These are all things we don't know. Instagram's awesome. Highlight videos are great. Doing fed ball drills or 2-on-1s is different than knocking down a Zverev serve when he's hitting at 142. So a lot of question marks, unfortunately. Someone else who kind of out of nowhere post Miami Indian Wells, and I watched her match against Alexandrova the other day, is Sabalenka is kind of searching a little bit.
Yeah.
Which happens. All top players, peaks and valleys. It's weird how we're digesting her performances now, but it's always against her own shadow, where she's set 3 years of precedent of I'm going to be in the semis finals at any point. And at some point in those 3 years, she was probably the most predictable entity in the world of women's tennis. And, she's searching for it a little bit. Not playing badly, just missing a little bit. You can kind of see with the temperament, looking at the box a little bit more, maybe a little bit unsure. But, I mean, the women's side going into the U.S. Open, it's hard to actually point to someone and say they're the favorite.
Yeah.
And it's, if you do somehow get to a favorite, it's almost by subtraction. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Rybakina has looked pretty average. Jess is proven, but she took an early loss. Iga has looked better. A win against Kostyuk, what I thought was a big one. Coco's reliable. At this point, is she the favorite going into the U.S. Open? Like, it is wide open on the women's side, unless someone catches a heater in Cincinnati. Then, obviously if Sabalenka goes and wins there, I think she instantly reestablishes herself as the favorite. She doesn't need as much work to get back to favorite status as someone else, right? If she goes and wins something, you're like, okay, great, we're back.
Yeah. Well, and then you also have Osaka, who has been playing so well the past couple of weeks. It's like
Noskova. I mean, we're not even talking about the Wimbledon. I mean, it's just there's you could literally list 15, 20, 25 names. Muchova coming off. I mean, there's so many names that you could kind of, but this the women's side of the draw, I'm going to like the draw show. If we had to do it right now, it'd be carnage. There'd be 7. This is like where you thrive, just carnage.
Yes.
The carnage bracket. But it's strange. Sabalenka's struggling a little bit. And it's weird to see her struggle because she hasn't for however many years. How's this for a stat also on the men's side? Montreal quarterfinals. Every person is born after the year 2000.
Holy cow.
I know. I started on tour in 2000, if you want to feel old. Like, I was old as. Back when I was young, I used to walk uphill both sides. Hodar is a badass.
Oh.
He just wins every week. It's good to see Feast back in the mix. It's good to, I mean, Hodar's going to make World Tour finals.
Yep.
I'm just telling you, he's good every single week. Lerner Tien is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to sneaky start, like, be real close to the #1 American very soon.
Man.
Like, he just wins on fast surfaces. He is not fun to play against. His ball striking, his ability to create space, like, he doesn't beat you with pace. He beats you with this depth and this accuracy. He wins every single week.
Yeah.
Like, he just creates space where, like, the winners he hits, it doesn't even feel like he's trying to pump one.
Interesting.
Like, he just creates space and then kind of walks through the space that you give him. Continue to be more and more impressed. Like, I think when he first started playing well, I'm like, yeah, he's a really good player. Doesn't serve big. Maybe consistency will be tough. I mean, he's kind of flipping all those narratives on their heads.
Mm.
He's going to be really close to the #1 American sooner rather than later, like within the next 6 months.
Wild.
I know. What do you got? You got some?
I have a question for you based off of that. So,
Yep.
One of those guys in the Masters in the Montreal quarterfinals, and I'll just list them real quick, but one of these guys leads the ATP in quarterfinals. So we got Hodar, Mensik, Tien, Merida, Feast, Shelton, Darderi, and Nakashima. Which one of them leads the ATP in quarterfinals?
All right, I only cut up with about 5 of those, but the sneaky one that I would go to because he plays a lot and he's had success this week is Darderi.
You got it.
Boom!
You got it. We thought you were going to say Hodar.
No, Hodar started playing well in like May.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't even on tour at the beginning of the year.
Darderi's got 10.
Boom.
Nice.
This is me feeling self-satisfied.
Yeah, that was good.
This is me feeling
I thought I got you.
very good. You didn't.
No,
You didn't.
I didn't.
What do you think? Throw it a break, come back with a little Holger?
Little Holger.
I'm excited. He was, by the way, he was fantastic when he came on before. I don't know that we're going to go as in depth with, like, you know, break down
No.
17 players.
But go back and watch that. I mean, it was cool.
I can be honest, I kind of, I didn't put an effort. I tried, but it was not a full effort. And credit to him also for making it difficult for me. I don't want to take anything away from that, but it was not a full effort. And
is that when you say effort? Because let me just interrupt for a second. Because when you say effort, when I watch you, I never ever look at a match, and I may disagree with tactics. I may disagree with how someone goes about it. Like, listen, that all happens. We're not all good every day. But I never look at you and go, that guy's not physically there. Are you talking about like the mental side of it?
Yes, mental kind of effort. Because for example that match, then I play, then I change tactic every 3 or 4 games, then I try to play extremely aggressive. Then I'm playing aggressive. I'm looking at my team. I'm like, but I'm trying to do some things. But if I really tell myself I need to win this match, I would most of the time find a way to win. It's just because sometimes you think things are rough. Oh, it's tough to move, or you feel the leg a little bit more, or something like this. And that's those matches where you just gotta dig deep and forget a little bit how you feel.
We'll post it underneath this one. But update from former world number 4 Holger Rune has come back from tearing his Achilles. You don't like that, but I've enjoyed kind of talking to him a couple times on the show. Hopefully you will too. We will be back right after the break. This is Served, brought to you by ServiceNow. Thanks for listening to Served. We will be right back. Summer's winding down, but we've still got plenty ahead on tour throughout the fall, with stops across the U.S. to Asia to Europe and back. And I know many of our listeners make the trip too. I just did the same thing, experiencing Wimbledon Village from a fan's perspective. And the best part was that I got to experience the tournament like a local by booking a place to stay on Airbnb. Techie Sean, it was your first time in Wimbledon Village. What'd you think?
Oh, it was great. You were talking about your favorite sandwich there for months. And when I finally tried it, it lived up to the hype. We were in the heart of the action, so we got to bike around a bunch, but your spot was a quick walk from our house. The setup was perfect.
That's right. It had everything we needed to make us feel like locals at the tournament. Proximity to the grounds, great shops and restaurants all around, and enough space for the family to make the trip too. But here's the thing. Great cities are about to experience an influx of fans making last-minute travel arrangements to catch the action live. And that's exactly where you come in. If you've got a home near a tour stop or anywhere fans might be passing through this fall, you can list your space on Airbnb and give someone the perfect home base to make their trip even better. It's such a simple and practical way to make use of your space, to earn a little extra cash, to put towards your own travel adventures, especially if you already have travel plans of your own. Why let your home sit empty when it could be working for you? Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. All right, back to the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to Served. As promised, Holger Rune joins the show again. I know so many of you enjoyed it when he joined us a couple months ago. It was 6 months ago or something like that now. But Holger, welcome back to the show. I know what everyone wants to hear from you is what's the update with the Achilles? How you feeling, man?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be back. I'm feeling great. Honestly, it's a long process, as we all knew was going to happen. But rehab is going well. Now it's less about rehab, but more about getting ready to perform again. So it's the last little performance details that is still missing, but it should be good within the next weeks, the next month. So hopefully you'll see me out soon.
Yeah, so we saw you pulled out from Cincy about 5 days ago. Is this just kind of a wait and see, and when do I feel like I'm physically fit? Obviously, the U.S. Open coming up, but it's a big ask to kind of play 3 out of 5 coming back in your first tournament, right?
Definitely, yeah. So we had training, and last week we did 7.5. So next week we're building up to 2 sets, hopefully, and then 3 sets the week after. So things are definitely moving in the right direction, but it's also, as you said, a matter of lasting over a long time, many days in a row, many hard training days. And I need to be able to sustain that before going out there again. So that's also why I don't have an exact tournament yet when I will be back. But it's definitely more in the near future than last time we spoke. So yeah, hopefully I can get out there.
Well, I know I speak for our listeners when I say we're happy to hear that you're back out there playing sets again. What feels different in this comeback, or is it kind of business as usual, just trying to shake off some rust?
Well, it's a little bit different than just rust. I would say it's more about like regaining the movements back and the right patterns back, and both the technical aspect of the movements, but also getting that last bit of explosivity right, and as well as the endurance in my footwork. So it's really, really hard work. It's not an easy injury to come back from. So it's constant work every day, both on and off the court. And I think now the on-court stuff gets more and more important. And it's some days fun, some days it's just hard work, and you have to go through it. But definitely been doing a million calf races.
Walk us through, because I know we, as athletes, we say rehab is tough, the practice is tough. Walk us through what a normal Tuesday has been. Like, what's the offset? You wake up, what's the process with your injury? How much are you hitting? And kind of just build out a day in your life currently with dealing with the injury while also trying to get some fitness back.
Yeah, so the last couple of weeks has been scheduled that we have done a prolonged warm-up session, which is kind of a physical rehab session already before the tennis, which is about like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And with everything, which is mobility, it's rehab work. So it's kind of a gym session already, with all the things that I need to do better with the mechanics when I run, the jumping stuff, the plyometrics, and all of this stuff that I need to be good enough at before stepping out on the court. And then we have usually a 2-hour tennis sessions. We mix the days sometimes with hitting partners, and we've been lucky enough to have a few players to play with. I trained with Musetti at one time. I trained with Koboli and Muller last week, Alexander Muller. So that was great. It's great to feel their ball again. And obviously there's still some adjustment steps that needs to be a bit better to be ready and be in a good position for every ball. And then it's a good long lunch break, fuel up, a lot of food, get some treatment if needed. And then it's another kind of, it depends a little bit on the day. Either it's another rehab session, which could be calf strength and leg strength, or it could be cardio, upper body core, or tennis specific stuff.
Thanks for listening to Served. We will be right back. This episode is brought to you by ServiceNow. Look, I have my dream job. I watch tennis, I think about tennis, I talk about tennis, but even dream jobs have not so dreamy parts. The stuff that gets in the way of the actual work. That's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what you should do about your busy work, they actually do it, start to finish. Cases closed, requests handled, no extra work for you. That way, you and your team can focus on the work that matters, which for me is explaining at length why tennis players are the best athletes on earth. Sorry, everyone else on earth. To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com. All right, back to the show. I know that last time we spoke, you were actively watching tennis. It didn't seem as if you wanted time away to not hear about it. What have you thought while watching this year? Is someone like a Zverev breaking through at Roland Garros? Is that motivating for you as you're coming back?
Yeah, definitely. And I think big credit to him. He definitely deserved that. He's been on the top of the game for the last so many years. So that was great to see him winning. And I think, obviously it's still Jannik, and when Carlos is playing, these are the guys that is really dominating the finals of the big tournaments. But it was great to see someone else winning, to be fair. It opens up the game a little bit. And I think the way he carried himself through Wimbledon, playing even better, in my opinion, than French Open was good to see. And I think now, obviously, Carlos injured and Jannik had some small issues. So I think the next, maybe the whole US swing is very open. And very exciting for so many players to do a big result.
Yeah, I think I was reading a stat today. It said it's the first Masters series since 1991 where no player in the top 5 has been in the third round. So it does seem like open season a little bit. But there have been some changes. Did I hear a rumor correctly that you have switched rackets as well?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Which one? And what have you felt with that new stick?
Yeah, it's a Wilson Defeyer. So I've been switching to Wilson and very happy with that. It's a racket that is, to be fair, quite similar with my former racket, which was the Aero 98 from Babula. But I find it great stability. Again, amazing racket head speed, a lot of spin, a lot of power. So it's honestly very similar. I think I get a bit more stability and probably a little bit more power when you want to hit that big shot than a Babula. But then I would say probably a bit more spin in the Babula. So that's the comparison that I would make. But yeah, I'm very happy. It's a very nice designed racket. I think I saw a video clip where you were hitting with it as well. So it's a cool racket. I
was going to say it works for people hitting different levels of pace. If it works for me and it works for Holger, then it'll work for anyone. I'll tell you, there's a lot of space between those these days. So give us your best guess at what your plan is from here. Right. So, who knows? I won't speak for you for the U.S. Open, but I have to imagine your focus is on the fall. Are you more attracted to playing a challenger on the way in, or does it really matter as long as you're getting match reps while you're building into 27?
Yeah, I mean, we are looking at Asia in the team, and we're looking to maybe start my comeback with Davis Cup at home. Could be a possibility. So I would love that, to be fair. Get my comeback in front of all my Danish fans would be amazing. And then lead into Tokyo and Shanghai, hopefully. And that's what we're trying to train for, and how we're building up the volume in the practices over the next couple of weeks to get ready for that. And then as we get really close, we'll have to see, am I ready or am I not ready? But that's where our headspace is at the moment. Physically I'm holding up well. Achilles feeling good, and it's starting to be. I start to see light at the end of the tunnel now.
How does it feel? Maybe explain the difference between. Because I always used to have this kind of offset. I would travel. I lived in a place called Austin, Texas. There weren't a lot of pro players there early in my career, so you'd hit with who you could. And then you mentioned hitting with Musetti and Muller, and you mentioned someone else that I should remember, but I don't. There you go. Yeah, Caboli. Yeah. Explain the difference with kind of your excitement level when you're playing tour-ready players versus, kind of good players, but maybe not someone who's flirting with the top 10 or 15 like Caboli or Musetti. Explain those differences.
Yeah, I think the fact that I'm still regaining all my movement, I feel a massive difference at the moment, because with those players like Musetti, like I hit once with Grigo as well. I feel like I had to rush my footwork so much to get in position to the ball. And every time I hit with these players, and I hit with Jannik actually one time as well, I was like, okay, wow, I still got some work to do on my footwork, you know. And you know, that's now been like 3-4 weeks ago, so a lot of stuff happened. But yeah, I think they just take the ball earlier, and they hit deeper. They hit more accurate. You're under like constant pressure more often than when you hit with, you know, hitting partners, with all due respect to every player. But it's just another ball. You know, it's a more intense ball with more spin, more quality in general, and that's the reason why these are at the top of the game at the moment.
So you've been off for more time than you would have liked. Have you picked up any hobbies? Do you like knit sweaters now or anything like that?
I don't know. Not really so much. I mean, I'm actually studying a little bit for my driver license. You know, I have the book, so I'm like, I gotta get that driver license. You know, now everybody was like, that's a great opportunity for you, you know. And I'm like, I know, but my days are literally from like 9 a.m. to 7, 8 p.m. So I'm like, I even feel like I have less time than when I'm on season, you know. So but that's the next goal outside of tennis.
Wait. So you've never driven a car?
No.
So let's say you ask someone out. You say, you can pick me up around 7. Is that the way it works? How does that work?
No, I'll probably order them a taxi.
I'll send a car service for you. Hey, listen, Holger, we won't keep you. It sounds like your days are busy and full. We can't wait to see you back. I hope it happens sooner rather than later. We certainly appreciate you checking in with us and giving us that update. Don't be a stranger. Come back anytime. Our fans, our listeners here love to hear from you. So all the best, and I hope we see you soon, Holger.
Thank you so much. Good to be here. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, it's great to hear from Holger. Seems like everything is going as planned physically. Obviously, a long road back from tearing your Achilles, but it sounds like he's happy, healthy, and on the mend. We can't wait to see him back. Techie Sean, someone coming on that I'm very excited about is Jason Heyer, who, for those of you who don't know, is the director for Novak's documentary that is coming out.
The Wolf in Winter.
The Wolf in Winter.
So sick.
Jason also, something you all probably have watched because most of Earth watched it, was The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, which was A++++.
It's so cool.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
So he is going to come on next week, and I can't wait to ask all of those GOAT v. GOAT questions with Novak and Michael, and what are the similarities and what are the differences, and what did you learn, and all of that stuff. This is going to be like a super nerd out session. So I'm excited. Jason Heyer's coming on. What else we got? Anything, or are we done with everyone?
We're just gearing up for Cincy and U.S. Open after that, and
I know it still kind of feels a little bit like the calm before the storm.
Yes.
And U.S. Open comes, and it's a monsoon. But like every week, we appreciate you for listening. We still can't believe anyone watches and listens to this show. But definitely tune in next week for Jason Heyer, the director of Wolf in Winter, the Novak Djokovic documentary. Can't wait to ask all of those fun questions, and we'll see you next week. I have my dream job. But even dream jobs have not so dreamy parts. That's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what to do about your busy work, they actually do it. That way your team can focus on what matters. To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit ServiceNow.com.